It's the nightmare humanity has feared for generations. A flash brighter than the sun, a shockwave that shatters concrete, and a silent, invisible killer drifting through the air. For decades, nuclear war has remained a distant threat, locked behind political stalemates and uneasy treaties. But with the current geopolitical climate, war in Ukraine, rising tensions between China and Taiwan, and instability in the Middle East, the possibility is no longer unthinkable. Missiles can be launched across continents in minutes. Entire cities can be erased in seconds, and the chain reaction, political, military, and environmental, could spiral far beyond the first strike. If the unthinkable happens, would you be ready? Today on Doomsday Broadcast, we explore exactly how to prepare for nuclear war and how to survive its aftermath. Step by step, no sugarcoating, no myths, just cold, hard survival. Before you can prepare, you must understand the danger. Today, there are more than 12,000 nuclear warheads in existence, enough to destroy humanity many times over. The largest arsenals are held by the United States, Russia, and China, with other nuclear-armed states including France, the UK, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea. These weapons fall into two main categories: strategic nukes, designed to wipe out cities, military infrastructure, and industrial centers. Tactical nukes, smaller battlefield weapons intended for limited strikes, but still capable of mass casualties. A nuclear detonation brings four primary dangers. First, the blast. The shockwave can demolish concrete buildings, tear apart steel structures, and turn cars into missiles. Anyone within a certain radius will be crushed, burned, or thrown with lethal force. Second, thermal radiation. Temperatures at the blast site can reach several million degrees Celsius. Fires can ignite kilometers away, and exposed skin can suffer third-degree burns in an instant. Third, initial radiation. A burst of gamma rays and neutrons, invisible but lethal, in the first seconds after the explosion. And finally, fallout. Radioactive particles sucked into the atmosphere and carried downwind, contaminating everything they touch. The devastation is not hypothetical. Hiroshima and Nagasaki showed that the immediate blast is only the beginning. Thousands who survived the explosions died weeks later from burns, infections, and radiation sickness. Chernobyl, though an accident, not a weapon, proved how invisible fallout can poison land, water, and air for decades. If you wait until the first mushroom cloud appears, it's already too late. Preparation must begin now, in times of relative peace. The first priority is shelter. An underground basement, a dedicated fallout shelter, or a storm cellar offers the best protection. If you have none of these, choose the most central room in your home, ideally without windows, and reinforce it. Sandbags, stacked books, or even tightly packed garbage bags filled with soil can add radiation shielding. Second, stockpile essentials. Aim for at least 14 days of food and water per person. If you live far from major cities, where fallout could linger longer, aim for a month. Water is life. Store at least 4 liters per person per day in food-grade containers. Keep it away from sunlight to prevent bacterial growth. Third, medical supplies. Your shelter should include a comprehensive first aid kit, prescription medications, burn dressings, antibiotics, painkillers, and a basic medical manual. Fourth, radiation protection. Potassium iodide tablets can protect your thyroid from absorbing radioactive iodine. Masks, ideally N95 or better, help filter radioactive dust. Gloves, plastic sheeting, and duct tape can help seal your shelter. Finally, information and power. A battery-powered or hand-crank radio can connect you to official broadcasts. Flashlights, lanterns, and solar chargers ensure you're not navigating in darkness. These aren't luxury items. They are the bare minimum for survival. If the warning comes, through sirens, phone alerts, or emergency broadcasts, you may have as little as 5 minutes before impact if you're near a target. Step 1. Get inside immediately. Do not go outside to watch the horizon. Do not try to outrun the blast. Step 2. Seal your shelter. Close doors and windows. Use duct tape and plastic sheeting or even wet towels to block airflow from outside. Step 3. Move to the lowest and most central part of your building. Basements are ideal. Avoid windows completely. They will shatter. If you are caught outside when the flash occurs, do not look at it. The light can cause instant blindness. Drop flat to the ground, face down, with your mouth slightly open to protect your eardrums from the pressure wave. Cover your head. When the shock wave passes, and it could take up to 30 seconds, get up and seek shelter immediately. Time is your most precious resource. Every second after the blast, radiation is spreading. Radiation levels are highest in the hours immediately after a detonation. This is when most fatalities occur among those who survive the blast but fail to shelter. The golden rule is the 10/7 rule. After 7 hours, radiation drops to 10% of its original level. After 48 hours, it's down to 1%. But even 1% can still be deadly with prolonged exposure. For at least 3 full days, do not leave your shelter unless it's a matter of life and death. Ration your food and water carefully. Survival is a marathon, not a sprint. Set up a basic sanitation system. A bucket with a tight lid can serve as a toilet. Psychological strain will be intense. Keep a schedule, assign tasks, read aloud to children if you have them. Maintaining morale is just as important as maintaining your stockpile. Clean water is non-negotiable. Fallout can contaminate lakes, rivers, and even rain. Use stored water first. If you must gather more, wait until fallout has visibly settled. Filter it through cloth, boil it for at least 1 minute, and treat it with purification tablets if available. Avoid water from open containers that were outside during the blast. For food, prioritize sealed, packaged, or canned goods. Avoid fresh produce until it's tested safe. Keep all food in sealed containers to prevent contamination from dust. Remember, dehydration and malnutrition can kill far faster than long-term radiation. In some Cold War-era drills, families in fallout zones survived for weeks underground on nothing but canned beans, crackers, and powdered milk. Radiation is invisible, tasteless, and odorless. You cannot sense it without instruments, but it can destroy you from within. Shielding is your first line of defense. Concrete, brick, earth, and even water can block radiation. Every layer counts. Distance is the second. Keep as much space as possible between yourself and fallout particles. Time is the third. The less time you spend outside your shelter in the early days, the better your long-term survival chances. Potassium iodide should be taken before or shortly after exposure to radioactive iodine. It does not protect against all forms of radiation, but it can prevent one major cancer risk. A Geiger counter is invaluable, but only if you know how to read it. Learn the safe exposure levels now, while you still can. If you survive the blast and the first days of fallout, the next challenge is long-term survival. Radiation danger decreases, but scarcity increases. Food, clean water, fuel, and medicine will be limited. Civil unrest is possible. In some scenarios, you may see law enforcement disappear entirely. Form alliances with trusted people. A lone survivor is vulnerable. A small group can share skills, guard resources, and defend against threats. Assign roles, food gathering, security, medical care, to maximize efficiency. After the London Blitz in World War II, neighborhoods that organized early and worked collectively recovered faster and lost fewer lives. The same principle applies here. If nuclear winter does not occur, and some scientists believe smaller exchanges might not trigger it, the world will still face years of instability. Shelters will need maintenance. Leaks, structural weaknesses, and contamination must be addressed. Food production will need to shift to safer methods, such as greenhouses, vertical farming, or hydroponics. Energy will likely come from small-scale systems. solar panels, wind turbines, even human-powered devices. Security will remain critical. Desperation can make ordinary people dangerous. Defensive planning, without escalating conflict, is essential. Above all, adaptability is the key. The survivors will not be the strongest or smartest. They will be the most adaptable. Nuclear war may never come, but history shows how quickly peace can vanish and how little warning humanity gets before catastrophe. Preparation is not wasted effort. Every can of food, every stored liter of water, every skill you learn could be the one thing that saves you. The decision to survive isn't made when the sirens sound. It's made now. This was Doomsday Broadcast. Subscribe to prepare for the unthinkable. And remember, the end is always closer than it seems.